Hey everybody, my name is Coty Dennler, and I'm going to talk to you guys about the program that I got to shadow, and that was a adult day healthcare program at my local Veterans Administration or VA healthcare center. So, why did I choose, or how did I come to this conclusion on where I wanted to do my shadowing experience? I had a personal experience from my past that I really enjoyed the Veterans Administration aspect on how they handle adult day healthcare, and how they are able to do so much with a relatively small staff, and everything that they were able to accomplish. Um, and I like the alternativeness of it because I'm going to talk a little bit more in my presentation about it, but we don't really have a lot of those programs where I'm from. So it's why I'm actually in this program to begin with. So that would be the why part of it is I plan to open West Virginia, where I'm from. We don't have any standard adult daycares, adult day healthcare programs in West Virginia at all because there's not any state funding or backing for that. And West Virginia being a primarily, you know, not poor state, but underfunded state. We rely a lot on state funding for these types of programs to succeed. So it's extremely important that you have state backing and state funding in order for these types of programs to be successful. In my past research, I also found out that West Virginia is one of the only states who doesn't have like Medicaid backing for these types of programs. So the few times that it has been tried, from people I have interviewed and talked to about why it failed when they tried it, it was because they didn't have any funding, and private pay models just simply don't work with our population. So, what it is, it's an adult day healthcare program by title. The people that work there, it's very multidisciplinary. So they have nurses, they have social workers, they have occupational therapy and physical therapy, other types of therapy. They have an activities director and staff. And this specific program, where it's tied into the VA hospital, they also have they have psychotherapies and things that are there. They have dietitians, they have other things, but just for the adult daycare program, these are the four subgroups of professions that were working in this setting. So, some of the services that they provide, medical monitoring. So, um, they're there really just kind of watching, would be one way of looking at it. So, medication management, different types of therapy, some cognitive activities to help stimulate, brain function. Socialization is a huge part of it, and diet support. Um, the people that are coming to this type of program, in order to qualify for it, you have to be 18 years or older and a veteran, or some facilities, depending on how much or how full they are, they can be family members over 18 or older, but primarily it is just the veteran themselves. Um, Even if it is 18 years or older, the population is primarily all older adults. Um, but you also have to meet some other stipulations. You can't just be a veteran who's over 18 and just come and hang out. You have to have some type of a medical necessity too, um, in order for the VA insurance and everything to pay for this type of service. And that is, you have to have assistant with your ADLs or your activities of daily living. You have to need some type of a caregiver assistance. Um, there are some people who need like social support and social skills training, like they would qualify for it too. And then also people that need transportation services. So a little sub service of what they offer is transportation. So they'll bring you from your house to the facility for the day and take you back, which is amazing because how much help is that for caregivers that we've learned about in this class and in other classes if you're in the aging program. So that's a really big weight lifted off of people. But they also have transportation to doctor's appointments and such, and they have special people that do that. Normally, it's volunteers that were most of them were previous veterans too. Okay, so my analysis. So where does it fit in the continuum of care? That's kind of variable depending on the person. So Primarily, they are working with older adults, but for a younger person who might need some help, it's not necessarily dependent on an age. It's not necessarily dependent on like your traditional continuum of care. They can be in this program prior to long-term care, or they could have come out of long-term care and gone back into the program. Um, it really just depends on the client and where it fits in. But typically, if you want like a roundabout generalized type of thing, it's when an older adult gets to the point where they're unable to take care of themselves, it's a great alternative to long-term care. So there is a lot of coordination in these types of programs. This one specifically, they have a lot of specialists that they can refer to. It's almost like having a skilled nursing facility or a long-term care facility, but just for the day. But they don't have like their own room with a bed or anything like that. It's just like a place where they can kind of hang out and make sure that their medications are being managed and make sure that they're getting socialization. Some so transitioning from this program to another program or in and out, again, that really just kind of depends on the person. Some people, for example, if they were wounded in battle or something like that, and they need caregiver assistance, but their caregiver needs to work, they would qualify for this type of program. So it could be a younger adult that comes in like after a hospital stay or after a rehab stay at an acute hospital or something like that, and they come in and they're going to go home in the evenings, but they need help in the morning time, so the caregiver can go to work or whatever they need to do. So it really just depends on the person. And then some people might transition from long-term care to this or short-term rehab to this. Um, it really is situation by situation. This one's kind of hard to pinpoint. Okay, this is where this fits in the continuum of care. What are the transitions in and out of the program look like? Um, I will say that I didn't get a feel from a transition out of this program very much, other than until they need more care than what they provide. So it's not like, oh, you've reached this goal, we're transitioning you out of this program, because this is actually fairly minimal in what they do. It's more or less being able to make sure that the person's taken care of while another person is away for the day. So, why is this service so important? There was a study done by the University of Missouri, and one of their conclusions was that this type of a program, an adult daycare program, is invaluable, and it's a great alternative to a long-term care placement. It provides very much needed support for family caregivers, um, and it's also a much cheaper alternative to other types of care. So it's got a lot of great benefits for both the client and the person receiving the services and caregivers. So, in my conclusion, I think that this service is needed for everyone. I think this is a service that we don't talk about enough because as I told you guys in the beginning of my presentation, in West Virginia, we don't have anything like this unless you're a veteran, which is pretty mind blowing. There are programs like day programs where people can go get socialization through, county commission aging programs, but nothing that focuses on the medical part of it too, with medication management and such. It's this type of thing is very crucial for this population. If this wasn't there, I can only imagine how many more veterans in our area would have to go to a long-term care facility because they don't have somebody to take care of them during the day. I would also mention that the patients seem very happy. I didn't see anybody like sometimes if you go in my experience in long-term care settings, you might see patients that seem very unhappy and agitated. I did not get that feeling here. It was they enjoyed coming. They had friends and people that they like to hang out with and activities that they like to do. So I didn't get that. Um, it can be improved and a little bit more personal. I think that they, like a lot of facilities, get into a rut of doing the same things over and over, like a posted schedule. This is what's for lunch. This is, what we're doing in activities today, so on and so forth. I really think that we could help it be more personalized type of care and maybe even get more patient satisfaction. But overall, I love the model. Like it inspired me, years and years ago to pursue this as a career path. So I was happy to go back and see another version of it, but nonetheless, still kind of the same model. And holistic care is key, like looking at the whole person, looking at the whole situation, because not everybody's going to need as much help because there was a lot of different people that were very quite intensive. Um, in need of help. That was surprising to me, considering a lot of places that throw one population in together that might not mix. But this was it was a lot of different people on several different ages, primarily older adults, but it was cool. So my question to you guys would be: I've told you about my struggles and wanting to get this type of a uh, program running, and some of the hindrances, the barriers are funding. What do you think would be a great way to go about funding? I've tried the legislative way and going through that. That's been really hard. Trying to get a hold of some administrators that run the Medicaid program in our state has been very difficult. Is there anything that you can think of outside of the legislative box of it that might help me establish funding for this type of a program that is good for everyone? Um, so here is my works cited page, and I am excited to see what you guys come up with. Leave some comments below and let me know what you think. Thanks. Have a great day.